most amazing artist. I hope you are having an awesome day today. And welcome to week 2 of our Pezzettino Square project. Last week in week 1, we read the book Pezzettino by Leo Leoni. Pezzettino means little piece in Italian. What we did last week after reading that book was we created this beautiful background using bleeding tissue paper. What we did was we put squares of bleeding tissue paper and we painted water on top of it, and the color from the tissue paper bled into our paper, and you should see on yours beautiful colors. All these colors are blending together. Now this one right here, I must not have used a lot of water, so if you have some white spots on your background, that's probably why. And that actually happens a lot with bleeding tissue paper, so you just got to be careful with that, but it doesn't really matter, and actually it looks kind of cool for my background. So this is mine that I created. Today we are going to create something out of little pieces, okay? So what I have here is a lot of different colors of little squares, and we're going to use these today to create something. You can create whatever you would like to do. Maybe you want to make a monster, maybe you want to make a flower. You have to think to yourself, what can I make out of a bunch of little squares? That is your challenge today. So I have a lot of little squares here in a bunch of different colors, and I have my background and I have a glue stick because we're going to be collaging these little pieces onto our background. That means we are going to be gluing it to our background. Since I'm using glue, I do have a messy mat under my work so I don't get any sticky mess on my table. That's everything we're going to be using today. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to start laying out squares and see, what could I make? I want to use a bunch of different colors so that all my squares do not blend together. And if you think of the book Pezzettino, there are a lot of colored squares in that book. So I'm just starting to build something. I'm not gluing anything yet because I want to see if I like what I'm building. If you glue it down and then you end up changing your mind, then we can't pick it back up. But if you just play around with your pieces on your paper first, like what I'm doing right now, I'm just laying things down. I'm not gluing yet, because what if I want to change something? If I glue it down, then I can't change it. So I'm gonna first see how I want to arrange these squares or little pieces. I don't really like what I was just doing, so maybe I'm just going to put them back on my tray and try again. Now, whatever Miss M makes today, I want you to try to do something different. Try to think of your own thing that you can create with these little squares. So let me play around with my little pieces here, and then I'll be right back to show you what my final design is before I glue it down. I just finished rearranging my pieces, making sure I used lots of different colors in there. Can you guess what I decided to make? Ooh, those are some good guesses, but if you said a heart, you can give yourself a pat on the back. Yes, Miss M has created a heart out of her little pieces. Now, whenever you get to your desk, you want to try to think of something else than what Miss M did. Try to use your imagination and come up with something very creative of what you can make with your little pieces. So now that I'm happy with the way that my squares are rearranged on my paper, I can go ahead and glue them down. So I just opened up the cap of my glue stick, and I don't want to push it up all the way because then the glue stick might break while we're using it. We only need to use a little bit of glue at a time, and to get more glue you just twist the bottom and more glue will come up, but we really don't need that much. So what I'm going to do to glue these down is I'll pick up a piece and I'll add a little bit of glue, and then I'll glue it down. And I ran out of glue, so I'm just going to twist it a little bit, and then I'll pick up the next piece, add a little bit of glue, and glue it down. We don't really need to add a lot of glue, because this is paper sticking to paper and they stick pretty well. Just a little bit of glue will go a long way. So I'm just picking up these pieces, adding a little dot of glue, and then I'm pressing it down. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue down the rest of my little pieces, and then I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. I just finished gluing down all of my little pieces, and I think I'm done with my glue stick now, so I'm going to twist it backwards, pull the glue down inside of the glue stick, and then put the cap on nice and tight. You want to make sure the lid on is on all the way so then our glue doesn't dry out. Now, I want to do a test really quick just to make sure all of my pieces are stuck on nice and tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to give it a little wiggle. Not a big wiggle, just a little wiggle. This is called a wiggle test. So whenever we're gluing something in art class, we always want to do the wiggle test. So flip it upside down and wiggle it just a little bit. And if nothing falls off of your paper, then you're good to go. All right, artists, I hope you have fun at creating something new and using your imaginations to see what you could create out of all these little pieces. Miss M made a heart, but let's see what you can make. I can't wait to see how yours turns out. I know it's going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.